5-9 point slope form. When we are looking at these formulas, we are using the formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where you're just replacing the y1, the x1, and the m. So we need our slope and an ordered pair from that line. If we look at example A, we have a slope of 3.5 and an ordered pair of -3, 2. That's on the line. So we're going to use that formula, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, and plug in those values. Our m is 3.5, our x is -3, and our y is 2. So we're going to plug these in. We have y minus 2 is equal to m, which is 3.5, times x minus -3. Because those two negatives are next to each other, we're going to turn them into a positive. So this is going to give us y minus 2 is equal to 3.5 times x plus 3. And that's our answer. For example B, it gives us a slope of 0 and the ordered pair -2, 1. So our slope, or our m value, is 0, our x is -2, our y is -1. We are using the formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So plug these values in. We're going to have y minus -1 is equal to 0 times x minus -2. So we simplify this. These are going to turn into a positive. This is going to turn into a positive. So y minus 1 is equal to 0 times x plus, y plus 1 is equal to 0 plus x plus 2. And we're done. For our next example, we have a slope of 6 and an ordered pair of 1, 2. So the 6 is our slope, that's our m, is equal to 6. Our x is 1, our y is 2. We are using y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Plug these values in. We're going to have y minus 2 is equal to 6 times x minus 1. And that's it. For example D, we have a slope of 1/3, so m is 1/3. Our ordered pair is -3, 1, so our x is -3, and our y is 1. And again, we're using the formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. We plug these values in. This is going to leave us with y minus 1 is equal to 1/3 times x minus -3. Those two negatives next to each other turn into positives, so this is going to be y minus 1 is equal to 1/3 times x plus 3. If we look at our next example, we just have a word problem here. So we're going to look for an ordered pair and our slope. It tells us Paul wants to place an ad in a newspaper. The newspaper charges $10 for the first 2 lines of text and $3 for each additional line of text. Paul's ad is 8 lines long. How much will the ad cost? So we are going to set up an equation in order to figure out what we're going to have after 8 lines for this cost here. So go from the beginning. Newspaper charges $10 for the first 2 lines. So that $10 would technically be our y-intercept, but we're not using that here because we're using point slope form. From there, it tells us that $3 for each additional line. We can also use that as our slope there. So first point that we're going to have is that $10 for the first 2 lines, so that's going to be what based off of what relies on the other. The cost relies on the lines, so the 2 is going to be our x, the 10 will be our y. So the 2 is our x, 10 is our y. So our first ordered pair is going to be 2, 10. It's $3 for each additional line from that point, so our slope is 3. And again, we're going to be using the formula y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So from here, this is going to give us y minus y1, which is 10, is equal to m, which is 3, times x minus x1, which is 2. We want to know how much an add will be for 8 lines. So that 8 is what our x will be, and we're going to solve for y. So here, we're going to use that x is equal to 8. So I'm going to just move this over here. Y minus 10 is equal to 3 times x, which is 8, minus 2. Order of operations here, 8 minus 2 is 6. So y minus 10 is equal to 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18, so y minus 10 is equal to 18. Then add the 10. We get that y is equal to $28. So it would be $28 for an 8-line add. Oops. B says, Paul would like to shop for the best price to place the ad. A different newspaper has a base cost of $15 for 3 lines and $2 for every extra line. How much will an 8-line cost in this paper? So for here, our first point is going to go off of that cost of $15 for 3 lines. So 3 lines is our x, $15 is our y, so that's going to be $3.15. And then it says that it's $2 for every additional line, so our slope is 2. So again, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus 15 is equal to slope, which is 2 times x minus 3. We are going to find when x is 8 one more time. So this is going to be y minus 15 is equal to 2 times 8 minus 3. 8 minus 3 is 5, so y minus 15 is equal to 2 times 5. Then we the 2 times 5 is 10, so y minus 15 is equal to 10. Move the 15 over by adding it, and we get that y is equal to $25. So if we look here, the cost for the first paper was $28. This one's $25. So the cheaper one, or the cheaper route, would be to go with the second one that he looked at. For our next example, it says Daisy purchases a gym membership. She pays a sign-up fee and a monthly fee of $11. After 4 months, she has paid a total of $59. We have to find the sign-up fee. So our slope here is $11 because that's the monthly fee. It says after 4 months she paid $59, so that ordered pair that we're going to use is $4.59. Use it into your formula. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So it's going to be y minus 59 is equal to 11 times x minus 4. Now, we need to know what her sign-up fee was. So for finding what the sign-up fee is, we are finding for our y-intercept. So we're going to have to formulate this into slope-intercept form. So we'll distribute that 11. So we have y minus 59 is equal to 11x minus 44. We are going to add the 59 to both sides. And y is going to equal 11x. The negative 54 plus 59 is 15. So our sign-up fee, sign-up fee is our y-intercept, which is $15. Our next set of examples, we're creating linear equations given 2 points. So with one of these, we can use well, not with 1, but with these 2 points, we can use the 2 points to find our slope, and then choose one of the points to make your formula. So if we look at example A, we have 2, 1, and 3, 4. So find your slope. Remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to do 4 minus 1 over 3 minus 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. So our slope is 3. From there, use one of the 2 points. It doesn't matter which one. If we use the 2, 1, we're going to have y minus 1 is equal to 3 times x minus 2. If we used the other, the 3, 4, we would have y minus 4 is equal to 3 times x minus 3. So either one of these would be correct in this sense. For B, we have 1, 3, and 2, 3. So we are going to find our slope, y1 minus y2, so 3 minus 3 over x2, or x1 x minus x2, or x2, whichever one you did, doesn't matter, 2 minus 1. The 3 minus 3 is 0, 2 minus 1 is 1, 0 over anything is 0, so our slope here is 0. If we used the 1, 3, we would get y minus 3 is equal to 0 times x minus 1. If we used the 2, 3, we would have y minus 3 is equal to 0 times x minus 2. For C, we have 2, 4, and 3, 1. For this, our slope is going to be 1 minus 4 over 3 minus 2. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. So this is going to give us a negative 3 for our slope. If we use the 2, 4 for our first one, we're going to have y minus 4 is equal to negative 3 times x minus 2. If we used the 3, 1, we'd have y minus 1 is equal to negative 3 times x minus 3. For D, we have 0, 1, and 1, 1. So this slope is going to be 1 minus 1 over 1 minus 0. So that's going to be 0 over 1, which is 0. So for 0, 1, we're going to have y minus 1 is equal to 0 times x minus 0, which is just the same. If you want to simplify this, you can. It would just be x in that set of parentheses, but you can leave it just like this. If you did the 1, 1, you'd have y minus 1 is equal to 0 times x minus 1. For our next example, we have a word problem here. It says an animal shelter asks all volunteers to take a training session and then to volunteer for 1 shift each week. Each shift is the same number of hours. The table shows the number of hours Joan and her friend Miguel worked over several weeks. Another friend, Lily, plans to volunteer for 24 weeks over the next year. How many hours will Lily volunteer? So we have multiple steps here. First, we need to find our slope, so we can use these 2 points. We can use one point as 6, 15, and the other point is 10, 23. So we're going to start with 6, 15, and 10, 23. We're going to find our slope using these 2 points. So we're going to have 23 minus 15 over 10 minus 6. The 23 minus 15 is 8. 10 minus 6 is 4. 8 over 4 is 2. So our slope is 2. We can use one of these 2 points. I would use the 6, 15 just because it's smaller numbers, and put it into our point slope form in order to solve for the amount of hours that Lily's going to work. So we can start. Our slope is 2. We're going to use the point 6, 15. So y minus 15 is equal to 2 times x minus 6. From here, Lily is going to work how many hours? 24 weeks. So our x is our weeks. We need to know what y is when x is 24. So we are going to plug in the 24 for x. So y minus 15 is equal to 2 times 24 minus 6. The 24 minus 6 is 18, so y minus 15 is equal to 2 times 18. 2 times 18 is 36, so y minus 15 is equal to 2 times 36. I'm sorry, just the 36. Not paying attention. 36, there we go. And then we move the 15 over by adding it to both sides. And 36 plus 15 is 51, so y is equal to 51 hours. If you use the other point, the 1023, you would have gotten the same exact answer as well. Example B says a roller skating rink offers a special rate for birthday parties. On the same day, a party for 10 students or 10 skaters cost $170, and a party for 15 costs $137. How much would a party for 12 skaters cost? So 2 points here, 10 107 and 15 137. So we are first going to find our slope using these 2 points. Our slope is going to be 137 minus 107 over 15 minus 10. 137 minus 107 is 30 over 5, which is going to be 6. So our slope is 6 here. We're going to plug this into one of our formula with one of these points. I'm going to use the 10 107. So it's going to be y minus 107 is equal to 6 times x minus 10. We want to find for how much it's going to be for 12 skaters. So x is going to be 12. So y minus 107 is equal to 6 times 12 minus 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. Y minus 107 is equal to 6 times 2. From there, the 6 times 2 is 12. So y minus 107 is equal to 12. Move the 107 over by adding it. We're going to have y is equal to the 7 plus 2 is 9, $119. And again, you could have used the other point, the 15 137, in your formula and gotten the same answer.